that family upbringing that is required is missing. So the Almajiri is not bad, but it needs to be fixed. There's some review. So the family, schools, we have to determine at what level. Shouldn't we put some drug abuse lessons in schools? And if that is so, from what level? Should it not be from primary or secondary? What of communities? What of traditional institutions? What are their roles? In many places in Nigeria, I can tell you that the traditional institution is more respected than government. When they say a Sadki or an emir has issued forth a command or a directive, they listen to it more than a governor. I know this because I've been a governor before. And on and on and on. These institutions, we have to make sure that they come into play. It has to be comprehensive. So this is the purpose of the committee, to put all this together after careful study and bring our recommendations. And we are confident that the government will implement, because we have Her Excellency, the First Lady on the committee, Her Excellency, wife of the Vice President in the committee. They will not allow their husbands to sleep. If these well, recommendations that will come...
Everybody wants to remain positive on the same page with you. But since you've identified the Sarkis, for instance, the emirs, the traditional rulers, as an intricate part for this to succeed, this challenge seems to be much more prevalent in northern Nigeria. Why so? Because that is the section of this country that we know that the Sarkis and the Malamis and the traditional rulers have got this very strong influence on the people. Why then is the proliferation or the intensity of drug abuse and use in northern Nigeria so high?
First of all, whether it is more prevalent in northern Nigeria is out in the air. The statistics that we have up to 2017 shows that it's actually southern Nigeria, surprisingly, that has more prevalence in drug abuse. But as I said, very soon, on the 29th of this month, the UNODC will come out with its own statistics from the survey. And again, we'll look at it. Maybe at this point, the northern Nigeria has more prevalence, or it's still the south. That we will know. It's all part of it, isn't it? That you have all these institutions. You have traditional institutions. You have the clerics. That's very important also. We are going to engage them. And all those other institutions that I mentioned, the supply side, NDLA, and so on. Still, this is prevalent. Clearly, something is missing. It is the objective of this committee to find out what is missing,
General,
and to solve it.
Okay, General, the other side of it is, would the committee be looking at why people take drugs?
We already have. We already have. The causes of drug abuse, I've mentioned quite a few. First of all, throughout, that is globally, drug abuse is more prevalent in poverty-stricken societies. So poverty is one of the causes. And it is the government now that will face that with projects. Already, well, you know, speaking as a Nigerian, not necessarily as a politician belonging to any political party, we know that the government of President Buhari is making inroads regarding employment. The huge infrastructural work that is ongoing, they employ people.
I asked the question, General,
you look at the agric.
I asked the question, if I may come in here.
They are employing people, N-Power and so on. So anyway, poverty, that is one.
Okay. General, I asked the question because...
Then you look at the family, the breakdown of family. Yeah.
I asked the question because there are those in the institutions you've mentioned, for instance, the institutions of government that are supposed to be checking the supply and use of this, like the NDLEA. There are those who believe that they are also complicit. They are colluding with the dealers and those bringing in, and even the users, to ensure that drugs stay out there in the marketplace or stay out there in the open. What would the committee be doing, especially as it concerns the agencies of government that are supposed to be checking this?
What you have said about about the NDLEA. That could be extended to other arms of government with some failures. That's true. I will not deny it. Majority of the workers are doing well, but there are still the bad eggs who collude. So that's a matter of discipline. That's a matter of recruitment. What are the background checks? What type of training do you give? What type of equipment? What are the motivations that you give the staff? If you don't pay him well, if you don't give him his entitlements, he will be inclined to shift. What about the discipline, his promotions, his welfare? Any barracks for the staff? And so on. So we visited the NDLEA. We'll do the same with NAFDAC, customs, immigration, prisons, and so on. We will find out why is it that these things happen under your watch. What are the reasons? Those are the reasons that we'll find solutions to and submit in our report.
Are you also going to be looking into, for instance, I mean, people who unfortunately get caught up in this substance abuse, most times they usually don't just come up like that. And when they come and own up, society stigmatizes them. So would you be looking into that to see how can society actually extend their arm to some of those people with a view to ensuring that we actually solve this challenge?
This point that you have raised is very important, not to criminalize drug users, but they need help and treatment. I visited a center in Kaduna. It's a counseling center, tucked in a corner somewhere by some experts for women. Some of them tested positive for drugs, and they were now told, okay, go to the rehabilitation center where you'll be treated. And they said, no. If we go there, people will see, will point fingers and say, so you are a drug addict, we didn't know, and so on. So stigmatization is one of the challenges that must be cured. And it will also be continued. We'll find methodologies. A lot of advocacy will come. This is something like any disease that you need to be treated. Please go and get help. Don't be shy. Remember, HIV and AIDS started like that. But today, people freely go and get treatment publicly. So we hope that the time will come also as far as the drug abuse is concerned, for this stigmatization, for the society to accept that these class of people, they need help. They are not necessarily criminals, and so on.
I know the committee is just going to, begin doing its job and you have your time limit, but are you likely, because when you do recommend people who will carry out this job, who might that likely be? Would you suggest NDLEA or NAFDAC as well, or would there be a task force? How would the states come in on this? Because it's huge.
Yes, those institutions will still be there, but it's in our terms of reference also to make recommendations that be sustainable. In other words, today is President Buhari who has tackled this problem. And remember, it's a giant leap on his part to have faced this problem. It's like a fire burning for years, and everybody points at it. Oh, that's a fire, there's a fire there. And the next person comes and says, there's a fire there. They keep pointing that there's a fire there, but nobody is attempting to put it off in a holistic sense until this president comes. So what happens in 2023 after he leaves? Tell me. That is the sustainability that we have to look at. It's in our terms of reference, and we'll come up with structures from the national, state, local government, and community levels, which will be sustained. There must be something at the national level that, by law, an incoming president will not kill. So that's part of the thing. And it's going to be something we want Nigerians to have ownership of it. So we have to individualize and get it down to the grassroots. The war against drug abuse, we're in the process of fine-tuning it. It's the work of this committee. But it will be something that will be total, comprehensive, everywhere in Nigeria.
All right, General, this is a huge job of work you've got on your hands, but we'll have you back on the show to take a look at some how you progressed, that your committee and that of the SGF. But for now, we do appreciate your coming on today. Brigadier General Bobo Marwa is the Chairman, Presidential Advisory Committee on the Elimination of Drug Abuse. We wish your committee all the best. All right, so we're back in a moment. Join us again.